The dark expanse of space held secrets beyond imagination, and on this particular day, those secrets would unfold around a small blue planet called Earth. The Xyloxian scout ship, a massive metallic construct shaped like an elongated arrowhead, silently approached the planet's atmosphere, its sensors probing and scanning every inch of the planetary surface. Inside the ship's central observation deck, Commander Krall reviewed the initial data streams. Holographic displays flickered with information about the planet's inhabitants, a species categorized as primitive, technologically underdeveloped, and seemingly fragile. His mandibles clicked together in what passed for a smile among his species. Another, routine planetary assessment, he muttered to his second-in-command Lieutenant Vex. The human monitoring stations on Earth, however, were anything but relaxed. At the North American Aerospace Defense Command Center, Captain June Park studied the incoming alien signatures with a calm that belied the tension racing through his veins. His fingers danced across multiple screens, tracking the alien vessels' movements with precision. "We have an unidentified object approaching," he reported into his communication system. His voice was steady, professional. The alien transmission came suddenly, cutting through every communication channel on Earth. A mechanical voice, translated by advanced algorithms, spoke with clinical detachment. "Inhabitants of planetary designation, Earth. Your civilization has been identified for mandatory integration into the Xyloxian Confederation." In that moment, most humans would have panicked. But not June Park. He understood something the aliens did not. Humanity's greatest strength was not in its initial appearance, but in its capacity to adapt, survive, and overcome. Across various military and scientific installations, teams began mobilizing. Dr. Yoon Choi in her research facility was already analyzing the transmission, breaking down its linguistic and technological components. Her team worked with a quiet intensity, mapping out potential communication strategies and defense mechanisms. The Xyloxian ship continued its approach, completely confident in its technological superiority. They had conquered hundreds of civilizations across multiple star systems. To them, this was merely another routine acquisition. What they didn't know was that humans had been preparing for potential extraterrestrial contact for decades, not out of fear, but out of curiosity and a deep-seated survival instinct. At the United Nations Emergency Council, ambassadors and military leaders gathered. The room was silent, filled with a tension that could be cut with a knife. They watched the alien vessels approach on massive screens, each person understanding the potential consequences of this moment. "They believe we're weak," whispered Ambassador Seok Lee, his eyes never leaving the screen. "They have no idea what humanity is capable of." Back in the monitoring station, June Park made a series of rapid calculations. The alien ship's approach, trajectory, its energy signatures, the subtle variations in its shield harmonics. All of these were being processed and analyzed in real time. The Xyloxian commander, still believing in an easy conquest, continued broadcasting his integration message. "Resistance is futile. Your technological capabilities are inferior. Surrender is the most logical choice." Little did they know that those words would become their greatest mistake. Humanity had always been a species of survivors. From the earliest days when humans struggled against harsh environments through world wars, technological revolutions, and global challenges, they had proven time and again that adaptability was their truest weapon. As the alien ship drew closer, something changed. In the atmosphere, a quiet determination spread across human communication networks. Military installations went into high alert. Research centers began activating protocols developed over decades of speculation and preparation. June Park looked up from his console, a slight smile forming on his lips. The aliens thought this was a conquest. Humanity saw it as a first encounter, an opportunity to show the universe exactly what they were made of. The first contact was about to begin, and nothing would ever be the same again. The Xyloxian ship continued its approach, unaware that beneath its massive hull, an entire planet was getting ready to challenge everything it knew about conquest and survival. Would the aliens succeed in their mission? Or would humanity prove to be something entirely unexpected? The answer was moments away from being revealed. The first plasma bolts erupted from the Xyloxian vessel, cutting through Earth's atmosphere like burning silver threads. Each shot was calculated, precise, meant to eliminate potential resistance before it could even form. The aliens believed this would be a swift surgical strike, a simple procedure of planetary submission. They were wrong. At the Earth Defense Command Center, Admiral Hyun Kim watched the incoming assault with calculated calm. His hands moved across the control panel, activating defense protocols that had been decades in preparation. Humanity had always understood one fundamental truth: always be ready. Target acquisition complete, he spoke into his communication system. His voice was calm, almost disinterested. The human defense grid came alive. Automated missile systems, which had been quietly waiting beneath mountains in underground silos and on strategic naval platforms, began to move. These were not simple rockets, but sophisticated weapons integrated with advanced AI tracking systems. The first wave of Xyloxian ships didn't even see the counterattack coming. Human missiles pierced alien shields with impossible precision. Each projectile was guided by complex algorithms that adapted in milliseconds, finding the smallest vulnerabilities in the alien technological defenses. Where the aliens expected weakness, they found a complex, intelligent response. Commander Wushin watched from a secondary command center. His special operations team had spent years preparing for potential extraterrestrial conflict. They had studied alien communication patterns, technological signatures, and potential psychological warfare strategies. They underestimated us, he muttered, watching holographic displays showing alien ships exploding in rapid succession. The Xyloxian commander, still believing in total victory, continued sending integration demands. But each transmission was now met with strategic human interference. Communication channels were blocked, redirected, and scrambled faster than the aliens could comprehend. In orbit, the battle became a dance of technological innovation. Human satellites, previously seen as simple communication tools, transformed into active defense platforms. They redirected energy, created interference fields, and provided real-time tactical information to ground control. Dr. Yoon Choi and her research team were already analyzing captured alien technology. Within hours of the first confrontation, they began understanding and reverse engineering alien shield and weapon systems. What would have taken other civilizations decades, humans processed in mere hours. The Xyloxian fleet started to realize something was fundamentally wrong with their invasion plan. Their ships, designed to overwhelm primitive civilizations, found themselves outmaneuvered by an enemy that didn't fight by any known galactic rules. Humans didn't just defend, they anticipated, adapted, and counterattacked with a speed that defied traditional warfare strategies. June Park coordinated multiple defense sectors, his mind processing information at incredible speeds. He understood that this wasn't just a military confrontation. It was a statement about human potential. Each destroyed alien vessel sent a clear message. Humanity was not a species to be conquered. The battle continued, with human forces showing an unpredictability that completely destabilized the alien invasion strategy. Missiles changed trajectory mid-flight. Defense systems recalibrated faster than enemy targeting computers could track. Ground-based laser systems created intricate defense networks that seemed to predict alien movement patterns. In military academies across alien worlds, this battle would later be studied as a turning point in galactic conflict understanding. The Xyloxian commander, watching his fleet being systematically dismantled, could not comprehend the human response. Their intelligence reports had shown a primitive species, technologically inferior. What they encountered was a civilization that rewrote the very definition of technological adaptation. As the first phase of confrontation ended, something became abundantly clear. Humanity was not just surviving, they were demonstrating a level of strategic and technological sophistication that would forever change how the universe viewed them. The initial invasion was failing, and the aliens were beginning to understand that they had made a critical mistake. This was not a simple planetary conquest. This was humanity's first true introduction to the galactic stage, and they were making an unforgettable entrance. The research facility hummed with intense energy. Scattered across multiple workstations, teams of scientists worked with captured alien technology, their fingers moving rapidly across holographic interfaces. Dr. Yoon Choi stood at the center, her eyes focused on complex molecular structures that moments ago belonged to the Xyloxian invasion force. "We're not just studying their technology," she explained to Ambassador Seok Lee. "We're reshaping it." Within 48 hours of the first confrontation, human scientists had already begun transforming alien technology in ways the original creators could never have imagined. Where the Xyloxian engineers saw rigid systems, humans saw opportunities for radical adaptation. A young engineer named Jae Sung held up a piece of alien communication module. What seemed like a complex circuit board to others looked like a playground of possibilities to him. He began reconfiguring its quantum pathways, integrating human computational thinking that broke every known rule of alien technological design. The military watched these developments with growing excitement. Each breakthrough meant another weapon in humanity's arsenal. Commander Wu Xin reviewed the initial reports, a slight smile crossing his typically serious face. The aliens had brought weapons of conquest. Humans were turning those same weapons into tools of unprecedented innovation. Quantum processors that once powered alien shield systems were now being repurposed into advanced medical scanning devices. Energy distribution networks became the foundation for more efficient global power grids. Communication technologies were being translated into systems that could potentially revolutionize global connectivity. In orbital research stations, teams worked around the clock. They discovered that alien technology operated on principles completely different from human understanding. But where other civilizations might have been overwhelmed, humans saw a challenge to be solved. June Park visited the research facilities, understanding that this was more than a technological race. This was about proving humanity's fundamental capacity for rapid adaptation. Each captured alien device was like a puzzle waiting to be solved, and humans were exceptional puzzle solvers. The Xyloxian monitoring stations began receiving strange data streams. Their own technology was being used against them, modified in ways their computational models couldn't predict. What should have been secure communication channels were now becoming intricate networks of human intelligence gathering. Dr. Choi's team discovered something remarkable. The alien technology contained embedded genetic memory, data storage systems that went beyond traditional computational methods. Humans began developing hybrid systems that combined alien technological principles with human creative thinking. "We're not just copying," Dr. Choi explained during a classified briefing. "We're evolving the technology." Military strategists realized that this wasn't just about defending Earth anymore. This was an opportunity to leap decades, perhaps centuries ahead in technological development. Each alien system captured was a gateway to understanding technologies far beyond current human comprehension. The global scientific community, previously divided by national boundaries, now worked as a unified force. Research centers in different countries shared information in real time, creating a collaborative effort that multiplied human innovative potential exponentially. Satellite networks began picking up strange energy signatures. The hybrid technologies developed from alien systems were creating computational networks that could process information at speeds previously thought impossible. Machine learning algorithms developed from alien communication modules showed capabilities that seemed almost sentient. Commander Wu Xin understood the larger implication. This wasn't just technological adaptation. This was a fundamental reimagining of what technology could be. The Xyloxian Confederation, monitoring these developments from their distant command centers, began to realize a terrifying truth. The species they had considered primitive was not just defending itself. It was transforming their most advanced technologies into something entirely new. Humanity was doing what no other known civilization had ever accomplished. They were not just resisting invasion. They were learning, growing, and evolving faster than the invaders could comprehend. As days passed, the captured alien technology stopped being alien. It became something distinctly human, innovative, unpredictable, and filled with potential. The technological adaptation had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. The alien command ship hung in orbit, a massive metallic structure that once represented total technological superiority. Now it felt different. Something was wrong, but the Xyloxian commanders couldn't exactly identify what. Commander Wu Xin's Special Operations Team had infiltrated their systems in ways no conventional military strategy could explain. They weren't just attacking, they were dismantling the alien psychological framework from within. Inside the alien command center, communication systems began experiencing strange disruptions. Messages became mixed, command structures suddenly felt uncertain. What seemed like simple technical glitches were actually carefully planned psychological interventions. Human operatives had studied alien communication patterns for months. They understood that the Xyloxian civilization operated on strict hierarchical systems, where uncertainty was considered a fatal weakness. By introducing subtle communication disruptions, they were creating something far more dangerous than physical conflict: total psychological destabilization. June Park watched the developing strategy from Earth's command center. Each intervention was calculated, precise, designed to create maximum psychological impact with minimum direct confrontation. The alien commander started receiving conflicting mission reports. Communication channels became unpredictable. Junior officers began questioning senior leadership. Small seeds of doubt were strategically planted, growing into massive uncertainty. One particular intervention involved manipulating the aliens' own communication encryption. Messages were subtly altered, creating scenarios where command structures appeared to be contradicting themselves. Senior officers began suspecting internal sabotage, turning their suspicion inward. Dr. Yun Choi's research team had discovered a fundamental weakness in the alien psychological structure. Their civilization was built on absolute certainty. By introducing calculated uncertainties, humans were essentially weaponizing the aliens' own psychological vulnerabilities. Holographic displays in the alien command ship began showing impossible scenarios. Tactical maps suddenly displayed incorrect information. Navigation systems started providing contradictory routing instructions. Each small disruption was designed to create maximum psychological tension. The Special Operations Team didn't need weapons. Their most powerful tool was understanding the alien psychological framework and exploiting its inherent weaknesses. Communication logs showed increasing panic. Alien commanders began issuing increasingly desperate commands. Their once precise communication became fragmented, uncertain. They were losing control, not through physical force, but through psychological manipulation. Commander Wu Xin understood something profound. Modern warfare was no longer about physical destruction. It was about creating systematic psychological breakdown. Human operatives had transformed psychological warfare into an art form. They weren't just fighting an external enemy. They were dismantling an entire civilization's sense of operational certainty. The aliens' hierarchical system, which had conquered hundreds of civilizations, became their greatest weakness. Each level of command started suspecting the level above and below. Trust dissolved. Operational efficiency collapsed. June Park watched the developing scenario with calculated calm. This wasn't just a military strategy. This was a demonstration of human psychological resilience and adaptive intelligence. The Special Operations Team had essentially turned the aliens' own communication systems into a weapon of psychological destruction. They weren't destroying physical infrastructure. They were systematically destroying the alien sense of operational confidence. Intercepted communication logs revealed increasing paranoia. Senior commanders began issuing contradictory orders. The once precise alien military structure was dissolving from within, not through external force but through carefully designed psychological interventions. Dr. Choi's team had discovered something remarkable about human psychological adaptability. Where other civilizations saw conflict as a physical confrontation, humans understood it as a complex, multidimensional challenge. involving technological, psychological, and strategic elements. As days passed, the alien command structure continued to fragment. What had begun as a confident invasion was now turning into a systematic psychological collapse. The Xyloxian Confederation was learning a harsh lesson. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't its technology or physical strength. It was the ability to understand, adapt, and strategically intervene in ways that defied conventional understanding. Psychological warfare had found its ultimate practitioners, and humanity was writing a new chapter in interstellar conflict resolution. The battle was being won, not with weapons, but with understanding. The final confrontation wasn't about weapons or technology. It was about something far more profound, the essence of human potential. Xyloxian command vessels clustered at the edge of Earth's solar system, their once mighty fleet reduced to a fraction of its original strength. They watched, confused and terrified, as humanity revealed its true nature. Dr. Yun Choi stood before the Global Scientific Council, presenting discoveries that would change everything. The human genome, they had discovered, was not just a biological code. It was an adaptive system more complex than any alien civilization had ever imagined. We are not just a species, she explained. We are a living, breathing adaptation machine. June Park coordinated the final phase of the confrontation. But this wasn't a military strategy. This was a demonstration of human evolutionary potential. Captured. Alien medical scanning technologies revealed something extraordinary about human biology. Where other species had fixed genetic structures, humans possessed an almost quantum-like ability to adapt. Exposure to alien radiation, technological interference, even the psychological stress of invasion, humans were changing, evolving in real-time. Commander Wu Xin's Special Operations Team had become something more than soldiers. Their bodies had begun developing cellular adaptations that defied current scientific understanding. Enhanced neural networks, improved cellular regeneration, heightened sensory capabilities, all developed during the conflict. The Xyloxian Confederation watched in horror as their invasion transformed from a conquest to a study of an entirely new form of life. Satellite networks picked up strange energy signatures. Human bodies were literally restructuring themselves in response to alien technologies. What would have killed other species was becoming a source of evolutionary advancement for humans. Ambassador Siak Lee presented humanity's response to the Alien Confederation. It wasn't a declaration of war. It was a statement of existence. We are not here to be conquered, he said. We are here to evolve. The alien monitoring systems began recording impossible data. Human technological adaptation was happening at a cellular level. Their bodies were learning, changing, becoming something entirely new with each moment of conflict. Research facilities around the world worked frantically. They weren't just studying alien technology anymore. They were understanding the fundamental nature of adaptive existence. Genetic researchers discovered that human DNA contained adaptive mechanisms that could potentially rewrite entire biological systems within generations. Exposure to alien technologies was accelerating an evolutionary process that had been dormant for millennia. The Xyloxian Confederation realized they had made a critical mistake. This wasn't a simple planetary invasion. This was first contact with a species that could fundamentally change the rules of biological and technological existence. June Park watched the final moments of confrontation with a sense of profound understanding. Humanity's strength was never about current capabilities. It was about potential. Alien communication channels became filled with a new emotion, fear. Not fear of destruction, but fear of the unknown. Humans were showing them that evolution was not a linear process, but a dynamic, unpredictable journey. Dr. Choi's team had discovered something remarkable. Human consciousness itself was an adaptive system. The very way humans thought, processed information, and responded to challenges was fundamentally different from any known galactic civilization. The final revelation was simple yet profound. Humans were not just survivors. They were living, breathing evolutionary machines capable of transforming challenges into opportunities for growth. As the alien fleet began its retreat, They understood a fundamental truth. Humanity was not a civilization to be conquered. They were a force of nature, unpredictable, adaptive, and filled with unlimited potential. The Xyloxian Confederation would return to their worlds with a warning. Humans were not just another species in the galaxy. They were something entirely new. The ultimate revelation was complete. Humanity had introduced itself to the universe, not through weapons or technology, but through its fundamental capacity to adapt, evolve, and transform.